Hello, good morning. Good morning to all my grandkids, great-grandkids to come. I have something very important to discuss. I have something to submit to Pan Trinbago. My name is Philip Despine. A lot of these tapings I'm doing is pretty much for generations to come. My tree branches. So I'm documenting a lot of things. One of which is something that I hold dear, which is promoting a lot of things of Trinidad and Tobago where I was born. So let me start by saying that I grew up on Woodford Street, as I've said in the past, tapings. I grew up on 25 Woodford Street in Newtown, Port of Spain. I grew up in a very talented area. The likes of Rafi Knowles, who was a sportscaster, Alison Hezekiah, who later became Alison Hennessy, TV personality Gail Bentley Taylor, JC and Trevor MacDonald, all lived on Woodford Street. The Pantons, one of the brothers who later became Archbishop, one of them was my father's boss, a director at Huggins and Company. Sisters, I believe all of the sisters were nurses. Mr. Carroll, who taught most of the musicians in Trinidad and Tobago music at the AME Church on Woodford Street. G. Miles, a model. Owen McWilliams lived at the back of me. Of course, he had 3 sets of residents that I knew of. One on, I think it's Don Donald Street, and the other one opposite the Royal Jail. Buller Street, a few streets from me, was George Bailey. Further down, Stephen Lee Hyun. Maurice Connor lived at the back of me on Picton Street. He was also the organist for the Catholic Cathedral and St. Patrick's Church. So there's a lot of great talent that I grew up with on Woodford Street that sort of formed me as a person growing up. And of course, I had Trinidad and Tobago television just a handful of blocks from me on Maraval Road, where I would go and watch television with other friends growing up on Woodford Street. We run around, watch television in their gallery, and that's where I would get to know Hazel Ward, who for all these many years have become a very, very good friend of mine. We've done a lot over the years, and I'm still in contact with her. So anybody who wants to know who Philip Despine is, this is me. I performed on Auntie K, even became a judge on Auntie K. Did a commercial for Bermudas on Auntie K. I performed on Riki Tiki with Uncle Tavi. A lot of people wanted to know how I was able to transition from Auntie K to 12 and Under, or to Riki Tiki in those times. So I performed on 12 and Under, Teen Talent, Junior Talent, mainly for women. Sunday Serenade with Sam Gani. Even did a few half-hour specials on Trinidad and Tobago television, including music festivals. Not too many of those. I think about 2 or 3 music festivals I did as a singer. Later on, I was the lead singer of Super Brass, Gemini Brass. Gemini Brass played for the big band Stephen Lee Hyun in both days of Carnival. At that time, David Rodder Tambu was with Charlie's Roots. Conan Lucas was with Sound Revolution. Carl and Carol, Chandelier. And there were 2 brothers, I'm forgetting their names, Facalia. We were doing a lot of great fests in the late 70s, mid to late 70s. I even performed with the police band on several occasions where Prospect wanted to take entertainment out to the people in neighborhoods in Trinidad, Woodford Square, Sangre Grande, San Fernando, all these areas. He wanted to give free concerts, and of course one of the problems he ran into with Woodford Square was that Woodford Square is opposite Parliament, and so the noise or the sound from the entertainment during lunch hour would sort of disrupt what was going on in Parliament at the time. So I think they preempted that. But he had a great idea to have people have lunch in an environment where they could sort of relax for an hour, listen to good entertainment. People like myself, Tambu was one of the singers. He was also a police officer with the police band. I also sang with the Catholic Church, in the Catholic Church choir. And I was also a member of the New World Performers, headed by Justin Pierre, with directors of that group being Andrew Tanker, Astor Johnson with his Mau Mau drummers. We performed all over the country with Valentino, Stalin. We performed in Northeastern College, Sangre Grande, Naprima Bowl in San Fernando, and of course, Queen's Hall. On Woodford Street, at the corner of Woodford Street and Dragway Road, we had Silver Stars, headed by Junior Pouchette. I've known him for many years. Started further down, Invaders, who I played pan with, and of course Phase 2 Pan Groove, where I was the first singer of, I want to believe, a steel band. At the time nobody else was doing it, but Phase 2 introduced it. I was the lead singer, and we performed at NJAC, we performed on television, we performed in FETS, Harvard Sports Club, and those other places. And of course, I later went on to learn that my sister-in-law, her brother, is Winston Spree Simon. He, of course, died a few years, many years ago. My father, Livingston Barrington Despine, was also a CDC judge, Carnival Development Committee judge. He judged mass for many, many years. So it is with this backdrop that I feel compelled to assist in the development of my culture with what we call weeting. I still feel that although I live here in California, I'm still woven into that fabric. I've never really left that fabric. I grew up in it. I just listed it all for you. Everything I did was in entertainment in Trinidad and Tobago. I am not an economist, but I do have ideas. And as the old saying goes, sense was made before books. So again, that's the backdrop. That's the backdrop. I've listed the many things that I've done in Trinidad and Tobago, and who I'm still in contact with. And I can call several names, but I think what I've given is enough. So a few years ago, I came up with an idea. It just came to me on how to make the steel band movement and Pan Trinbago self-sufficient, independent, without including the government of Trinidad and Tobago, that would not only pay pan men salaries, but create life sustenance to the steel band culture, having them be able to own homes and purchase cars and invest for their families. So here goes, long-term planning. And I had shared this, I did an email blast a few years ago, it's been about seven years ago. I did an email blast to several people, David Rado, Marshall Montano, Silver Stars, Phase 2 Pan Groove, a lot of people and organizations in Trinidad, with what the plan is. No one to date has gotten back to me. And that's why I now feel compelled to put this on tape and and to have it reach out to where maybe it'll reach Pan Trinbago. Sure, I mean, I went to school with Keith Diaz, you know, and I hope that one day, you know, we weren't in the same class, but you know, and I knew his father. I know his family, sister. And I hope one day I'll get to meet him to go over this with him. But here it goes. We get the creme de la creme of Trinidad and Tobago. And by this I mean the David Rodders, the Marshall Montanos, Brian Lara, Dwight York, Sparrow, the president of Trinidad and Tobago, Kimona, past president of Trinidad and Tobago, Max Richards, president of CCN, whoever's the head, I forgot who's the head of the central bank, but the creme de la creme of Trinidad and Tobago across the board. An entire group of people whose interest is promoting the culture of Trinidad and Tobago, especially where the steel band movement is concerned. And so you get all of them to go into the financial offices, the banks, the banking institutions, Visa, MasterCard, American Express, Discover. And what you want is, you want them to submit this idea that I think is a fantastic idea. It's the best idea I've heard. It's the best idea that's out there. How do you make Pan Trinbago and the steel band movement self-sufficient? This is a fantastic idea. Trinbagonians and other West Indians, Caribbean people, they buy food every day, they buy clothes, they shop every single day. They buy cars, trucks, let's say automobiles. They buy homes, land. My idea is to get Visa, MasterCard, American Express, Discover banking checks with the logo of Pan Trinbago on them. Select 10 of the top bands, your Desperados, Starlift Phase 2, Silver Stars, Renegades, 10 of the top steel bands, and list their names individually on checks, on various checks, customizing it to the customer. I like Starlift, so my checks are going to be Starlift. Or some of my checks are going to be Phase 2 with the Pan Trinbago logo on it. Same as the Visa, MasterCard, American Express, Discover card. And each time a sale is made with these cards or these checks, 1%, point whatever percent of that 1% goes to the well-being of Pan Trinbago. That would end what we know as sponsorship, but still maintain sponsorship in a different form. Every Tom, Dick and Harry is able to sponsor bands, but they don't do it 365 days in the year. They're not buying steel bands, they're not cleaning and restoring pan yards or pan theaters, they're not paying salaries. All you get from them at the end of the year is a t-shirt, a bloody t-shirt. That's ludicrous. That's uncalled for in 2014 going into 2015. We need something bigger than that. And this is where Visa, MasterCard, American Express, Discover your own checks, customizing them to the band that you like. And whenever you shop every day. If we ask you right now to donate $5 or $10, you will find it difficult. You the customer, you the consumer. But if that's built into your shopping, your daily shopping, then it's up to the merchant, or it's up to Visa, MasterCard, American Express now to to know how important the well-being of the culture is, the steel band movement, to donate that 1% going back. Okay, and I'm almost sitting a lot of people with open accounts only because they know now that they now have their favorite band, a Visa or MasterCard or check in their pocket. It's a brilliant idea. So what would happen is sponsorship would now be Visa, MasterCard, American Express, Discover Card, and whatever banking institution. Across the board, those are now your sponsors. Anywhere there is steel band movement, anywhere there is steel band going, those banners are up. No more fly-by-night, whatever the sponsor is. If you want to get in on the action, you'd have to pay to play. You'd have to pay for that advertisement. Because you're not going to get the advertisement just for Carnival, and then after that you just disappear. People want you long term, and so wherever the steel band is played, you are going to see Visa, MasterCard, American Express, Discover Card, whatever the banking institution is, plastered on every steel band, and wherever the venue is, that's what you're going to see. So no more begging for t-shirts for Carnival. No. Remember, Trinidadians and Caribbean people are shopping every day. 1% is coming back to you, Pan Trinbago. That's enough to pay salaries to the steel band movement, and have enough to build your own headquarters as big as you wanted, as massive as you wanted. So this is everyone's way of giving back to their culture. I think it's a fantastic idea. You say you love the culture, well, love it with your pocketbook. Love it with your pocketbook. And so that's the long-term plan. That long-term plan of mine is a brilliant plan. Let's come to short-term. We have a big Carnival celebration coming off early next year. We can start to do something right now using the same people, the creme de la creme of Trinidad and Tobago. Every year, the tobacco company, Carib, Stag, Fernandez, Old Oak, you benefit from wheating, from wheat culture. The same fabric you're supposed to be woven into, because most of you guys are from Trinidad and Tobago, from the Caribbean. So this should be something that you should want to do. So here's what we want you to do. And Keith Diaz and all the others, you guys can work these numbers out. I'm just throwing some numbers out to start with. West Indian Tobacco, or whatever your names are these days, manufacture an extra 100,000 packs of cigarettes. And that includes Carib, Stag, an extra 100,000. Fernandez, your rum, Old Oak, Fernandez and those bottles, manufacture maybe 50,000. And what you're going to do is, again, Pan Trinbago's logo goes on that, once again, with your individual steel band on each of the product. So that I, as a collector, who would come for Carnival, and others, would love to collect the 10 steel bands. Would like to collect the 10 steel bands in Old Oak or whatever it is. And whether the bottles got emptied or the cans got emptied, I'd love to bring those things back and put it up inside my house, because as a tourist coming back in, they become conversational pieces. You know where you were, where you got them from, to have a conversation about it, right? And I think that Pan Trinbago should be putting up a lot of kiosks all down Frederick Street from where the hotels are, create a path, involve the hotels, and always have items to be sold. If tourists come into the Pan Yard, set up a camera to videotape or to videotape or to take pictures. So you set those things up. Run a competition that whoever gets the 10 bands, in whether it be bottles or cans or whatever, you run off a competition, and the winner gets a steel pan, a tenor pan. So again, most tourists going back would be able to have these products in hands that become conversational pieces. A couple more things to that would be to clean up and prepare the steel pan yards. Clean up and prepare the steel pan yards in preparation to have them, to use them as restaurants. Every day people are going out for breakfast, lunches, dinners. Steel barnyards can be transformed into restaurants, breakfast places, lunch places. The government of Trinidad and Tobago can start by going to these places, bringing dignitaries. The steel band movement can play nice soft music while discussing whatever it is they need to discuss. Hire a chef, hire a professional chef who can prepare stuff properly. And so with your breakfast, lunches and dinners, that's bringing in a lot of income. Why have people go to other restaurants to have breakfast, lunches and dinners when you can do the same with the steel lanyards? Tourist ships are coming in. Have them go to those places to have breakfast, lunch and dinners. And the guys who are liming at these places, no more liming. No liming between those hours, because you're running a legitimate business here now. And again, you have a camera there. You have mass pieces. If the tourist wants to take a picture with a steel band or the steel pan man or woman, they can take a picture and you charge them. If they want a picture with the arranger, like a Len Booksy shop, well, that's extra. But you need to change that thing that says people only need to go to the more established restaurants. I think people want somewhere to eat, and if they know you have a nice, I think what interests people when they're eating is good tasting food. The ambience you're going to be presenting to them is going to be that of nice, soft playing steel band music, while people are having their meetings or just talking. No brand sounds, no heavy panorama songs. Nice, soft music is what you want in the background. And you can run those restaurants until maybe 9, 10 in the evening. So there is breakfast, there is lunch, and there's of course dinner. And finally, in all of this, Pan Trinbago really need to get serious on getting the government to set aside a day for Carnival strictly for steel bands. The government of Trinidad and Tobago needs to set aside a day. It's either going to be Carnival Sunday or Carnival Monday. Strictly for the steel band, nothing else. No DJ music, no brass band music, no DJs. A DJ play one reggae song, you need to get a rope. You need to get a rope. Or tries to outdo the steel band as it's passing, get a rope. I'm facetious with that. I'm not serious with that. Just take him out. Take he or she out. So with this, I hope that no one ever asks who Philip Despine is. This is Philip Despine. I now live in Southern California, and I hope one day to come back home to live. I do come home every time I get a chance, and I really do plan to come back home and live. I have a lot of great ideas, and I know people have asked, well, who are you? Well, I've been away from a lot of things for quite some time, and I get sick and tired sometimes when I open my mouth to talk about that fabric of Trinidad and Tobago that I grew up in. People are asking, well, who are you? What do you know of it? Well, I know a whole bunch about it because I grew up in it. Antique, 12 Under, Rikitiki, Sunday Serenade, Teen Talent, Junior Talent, Baby for Women, and a host of other programs and stuff that I've done. And so I feel, even just being a Trinidadian and a Trinbagonian, I think I have the right to talk on that subject, much less me being woven in that culture since I was a boy, 4 or 5 years old. You can ask anybody. Ask Hazelwood. Well, Auntie Kay is no longer there. I can't ask her. Dollar High, I don't think he's there anymore. Morris Connie is no longer with us. A lot of them are not with us anymore. Hollywood Todier, he's still around. He'll still know me. Hollywood know me. Astor Johnson is no longer here. Andrew Tanka is no longer here with us. Stephen Lee Young, I don't even think he's here with us. But there's still a lot of people around who can still say, yeah, I know Philip Despine. Some people are recognizing me on Facebook, and we're having some fun with that. So that's it. I hope that this reaches Pan Trinbago. I was there this year. I went to Pan Trinbago hoping I'll be able to talk to Keith. He was not there. My time was just about 17 days, and I had so much to get in that 17 days, running here and there. So I got there, and he wasn't there, and there was no way. I thought I could swing back. I was staying on Woodford Street, which is not too far from where the Pan Trinbago office is, which is on the back of La Perouse Cemetery. I could have walked around there. Of course, I had my rental with me. So it's that close. I didn't have to go far. But I had a lot of other commitments. When you go there for 17 days or 18 days, for me, prior to coming into Trinidad, everything is already, documented. I know what restaurants I'm going to be eating at for breakfast, lunch, and dinners, the fetes I'm going to be attending. I already have everything outlined. So once I get there, it's just now to look at my day. That's what I have planned. That's what I have planned, because